Look, I am a firm believer that even pizza is pretty damn good. But making beautifully flavorful pizza crust with good chew, good browning, and just a hint of charring in a home oven is something that generally takes at least a good day of fermentation to get right. Or you can give up just a sip of that beer and have it almost as quickly as Domino's will get it to you. Choice is yours, I guess. What's up, everybody? Welcome to my kitchen. For months now, I've been handling most of my family's weekly pizza nights instead of outsourcing the job to my local Little C's. But really good pizza dough is like any other bread dough. To really develop all the things that make it great, it needs time and honestly a fair bit of it. And sometimes, damn it, I just don't have the time. Or more likely, I honestly just forgot to make pizza dough yesterday. Now, like any other bread dough, you can rush pizza dough and have it faster, but it generally comes out kind of dense, a bit lifeless, and the final result is about as pale and uninteresting as the dough was when it went in the oven. So I decided to see what I could come up with to fix these issues, and what I've arrived at may be the best pizza dough that I've made at home so far. But enough blabbing, let's just go make some pizza and we can talk about the details as we go.
For this video, I'm going to be making 2 8-ounce pizza doughs, but I'll leave a recipe for one dough down in the description. Since yeast needs somewhere warm to do its thing, I'm going to warm up my milk. I did this using a pan, but you could easily do this in the microwave if you prefer. You just want this milk to be about body temperature. I only do the milk and not the beer as well, because if I overdo it, I can always add a little bit of cold beer into the milk and cool it back down. As far as which beers work best for this, I would pick something on the more malt-forward side. Hoppier beers and hops in general tend to get pretty bitter when they're cooked again, and you don't want that in your pizza. If you're unsure whether your beer is particularly malty or hoppy, it'll probably say it on the back. If not, check for an IBU and pick something that's a little bit lower. In my warm milk and beer mixture, I'll add a little bit of sugar to help feed the yeast, and I'll add my yeast and give it a little mix and just let that sit. While that's doing its thing, I'll mix together some high protein bread flour for dough strength, some whole wheat flour for some flavor, and some salt. Now my yeasty guy is ready to go. I'll throw it all together, throw it on the mixer on medium-high for about 5 minutes. You can do this by hand, which I did because my kids are asleep, but it does take significantly longer and it made a pretty big mess. When it does finally come together and starts to look like pizza dough, I'll divide it into 2 equal pieces and then set those aside to rest on a flour dusted baking sheet. If you develop enough gluten in your dough, it should kind of hold its shape while you cut it, and it shouldn't really be all that sticky. And I'll cover my doughs up in an inverted baking sheet, and if I've already got the toppings hanging out in the fridge, I'll grab the rest of my beer, of which there is very little missing, and go relax, because I'm basically done making pizza. I, on the other hand, don't have all my toppings kicking around, and most importantly, I don't have a sauce. This is just a simple emergency sauce using some stuff that I've always got lying around. It's nothing fancy, nothing crazy, but it is pretty damn good. To start off, I'll take a can of crushed tomatoes, which I've pretty much always got kicking around in the cupboard, a few cloves of garlic, a tablespoon and a half of dried oregano, maybe half a teaspoon of chili flakes. This isn't going to make it hot for all the spice haters, it's just another subtle layer of flavor, similar to how cayenne pepper is in something like hollandaise, or salt in a chocolate chip cookie. I'll also season it generously with some salt, some pepper, and a little bit of sugar to help balance out the acidity in the canned tomatoes and help mask the tinny taste that's sometimes there. Then I'll blend all that up and preheat my oven to 500 degrees. With my sauce ready, my oven hot, my dough nicely risen, and my beer long gone, it's almost time to eat. Which is handy because I am hungry. So I'll take my doughs, flour the toss them, and then using my bench scraper, I'll plop those flour side down on my table and gently start stretching out my dough working from the middle. This dough is actually pretty strong, so if you do feel the urge to start throwing this thing around, go right ahead. You can toss them around all you like and they aren't going to tear, but they're also really relaxed and very easy to stretch on the table. Once my dough is nicely stretched out, I'll transfer it to a sheet of parchment paper for easy handling and load it up with my toppings. No pepperoni, some fresh mozz, whatever floats your boat. Just be sure to leave the fresh herbs and leafy greens till after you've cooked them for best results. If you've got a pizza peel or something that you can use as a pizza peel, then I probably don't need to tell you how to use that thing. So just skip the parchment, do you? Once my pizza is nicely loaded up, I'll toss it in the oven on my pizza stone for 10 to 12 minutes. When the cheese is nice and melted and the crust is nicely browned, pull them on out. Look at these things, man. Even with transferring this to the top rack of my oven, it's nicely browned up all around the crust and the bottom. No pale ass flavorless piece of crust here. It's soft, airy, just a little bit of crisp on the outside of the crust. It's chewy, got a ton of great flavor coming through from that really malty beer, and the emergency sauce is exactly what it's supposed to be. That said, though, this is about all I got for this video. If you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed making it, be sure to hit the like button, consider subscribing. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time.